I was gonna hop in for a little bit. I looked up and I was late to be here, so I was like, "Good." I want to thank everyone. Let's hit this. I want to thank everyone for coming through. Everyone, the multitudes of you. Uh, no show today. Today's Thursday. I normally take Thursday off, but this weekend is going to be crazy. There's been some outages, right? Some goofiness. So I don't even know if there's going to be a show tomorrow, quite frankly. It's supposed to rain here. It was 78 degrees here today. 70 I'm sorry, 74 degrees here today, 78. Uh Come on, man. It was warmer here than it was in Texas. Crazy. So I don't need to excuse me. I don't even know what to tell you. I played some skirmishes in Bannerlord and I got dusted off like a freaking lamp. I got dusted off. I thought I was better than that. Turns out I was not. Tension rise in the Ukraine as Russian-backed separatists shelling his. Look, listen. The Russians give those separatists money and training and tell them to do that. Just don't carry our flag. But all those dudes speak Russian. You know, it's like if Maine decided it wanted to be part of Canada and launched like an insurgency, and Canada was giving them money and training and stuff. It's That's what that is. Uh, all the while going, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Um, it's always something new. Oh, we avoided another government shutdown. The Senate avoids a government shutdown, punting a spending deadline into March. This is where we are. Even the government is run paycheck to paycheck. The people in charge are just incompetent. They shouldn't be in charge. I am fully for an American style military government. Well, actually, I'm not really for an American style military government because military governments always fucking run off the rails. Here's the thing about your military governments: the people aren't military. You can't make them be military people, right? You can't. So there's always going to be this this bullshit. But well, excuse me, but I totally get, saying, all right, you guys are destroying the country. You guys cannot govern anymore. Elections will be tomorrow, but that's what will happen with somebody will reverse George Washington this bitch, which is like, well, I think what America needs is a king, and I just think I'm the person to do it. And obviously, my son is obviously the person to lead after me, and then his daughter to lead after her, and that. And anybody got anything to say? And everybody's gonna like, no. Um. So yeah, this is why they don't work out. A bat falcon. I'm assuming that means a falcon that eats bats. See, look, these people are not the best people, and they don't represent our community, but they're always in the newspaper. A cargo ship full of luxury cars is on fire and adrift in the middle of the Atlantic. Yeah, that makes sense. Chris Cuomo, CNN star host, molested colleague. Chris Cuomo, CNN. Ugh, can I even get this done with this? I don't think I can. Ugh. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that headline. I mean, maybe it's, I need, ugh, I know it's a little bright, but come on, guys. You know what I can do? I could dim it down a lot. That's outrageous. Chris Cuomo, CNN star, molested colleague. I'm not surprised by this. I think this is all kind of like we got money, we can do what we want. The Justice Department is a shit show because it's all white rich guys. The banking situation is a mess because of the same reason. America is run by a fraternity of rich white guys. One controls the banks. It's like medieval guilds. One's the bankers, one's the fucking law enforcement, one runs the law guild, which is the bar association. And if you look at some of these lawyers, you really have to wonder what the fuck the bar association is doing. Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's crazy. Chris Cuomo, CNN star host. This is what happens, like rich kids. Just the nonsense of it. It's just kind of like my daddy's governor, I can do what I want, and no one ever holds them accountable. No one gives them harsh words, and before you know it, they're this. Now, I'm not saying they all end up like this, but like these unliked people. And apparently, he was not liked at CNN. He was not liked there. So when they fired him, people at CNN were like, "Oh, good, he got what he deserves. He's an asshole," you know. But then when they fired Zucker, everybody was like, "No, we love Zucker. Why did what did Zucker? No, this is all Chris Cuomo's fault." You know, that kind of thing. But Zucker was in bed. His number one assistant, he's sleeping with her, and then they're both telling the governor of New York what to say through a scandal as they report on that scandal. As his brother, oh boy, the whole thing just is just it's just weird. It sounds like if I'd have written that in a screenplay, you'd have been like, man, this shit is trite and derivative of a soap opera. Don't you have any new idea? Oh, let me guess. The head guy is secretly sleeping with, but everybody knows. Haha. Oh wait, the guy is the brother of the governor. Yeah, the governor. But the woman who he sleep with used to work for the governor. She used to be the governor more. I bet she probably did. Look, man, sleeping around at work is a thing that some people do. And whenever it goes bad, it's not always on the guys, right? All these women coming up going, I was a victim of first. And there's a couple of things I don't like about this. First of all, the whole Jane Doe thing, you should have to stand in the light of day and state your name and say what's up. And that shouldn't be hard for this woman because she made I'm not gonna say a legitimate claim, but she said something about this and filed a report on it when it happened, right? Told her friends about it. And then when this whole thing broke out, he reached out to her, I guess, to smooth it over or do something. I don't know what. After not having spoke to her forever. So all that looks super sketchy too. But you know what happens? He gets to take the $150 million he made from CNN and sulk in his giant house. No one ever pays the price for this shit. So yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm not even following the Joy Floyd federal hate crime trial. I'm just kind of like, no, I don't even care. I spent the day driving today. Sadly, listen to NPR. I gotta find another uh thing to listen to, but some of it is just liberal garbage. Um, from an ex-liberal, right? Just garbage. Some of it doesn't make any sense. They were talking about. I've been talking about a civil war in this country for a while now, as my old Facebook will tell you. Um, and they were talking about it now. People are beginning to go after January 6th. People are now beginning to be concerned. But when they were running around blowing up abortion clinics, shooting up the joint, killing, right, and then when I realized it, when they shot, granted, the guy who shot Gabby Gifford and the guy who shot what is his name, the Republican congressman. They were both crazy nut jobs, but they were inflamed by the society, right? So what happens is you get these nut jobs out of society, and everybody has different temperaments, different levels. So they just rabbit it, right? They're not. They're I don't want to say crazy, but they're a little not. So they rabbit it, right? But other people who think they're stable of mind will eventually do the same thing and say that they're rational because the country has gone too far. But my point is, people are willing to do that, right? And when it happens, you don't get to. All you get to do is pick your enemies, because sometimes your enemies pick you. And then what do? They do something evil, you do something evil. But the thing about that is, if I did something evil to you, and then the next day it's you do something evil to me, I don't get to dictate. Hey, that was a little overboard. That was a little too right. It is once this kicks off, it's as dark as you want to be, and it's a fuck situation. And they should have fixed it before it got this far. And she was on NPR talking about, oh, I think the rhetoric is we did, and it's always about controlling the language. So her whole issue about this, and she worked for the government, counterterrorist, some shit. This was this week. You can find it. She was, she didn't want you to use the words insurgency, and she was like, I can't. People can't firing, shooting at your neighbor. I can't believe it. I was like, this bitch must be new to the world because that shit happened twice. You kill your neighbor in civil wars, right? We had a civil war. You kill your countrymen in revolutions, right? We had a revolution. They weren't our neighbors, but they were our countrymen. What are you gonna do? Hey, Steve. Steve. Hey, William. Steve Scalise. Thank you. Hey, Steve. Hey, William. Good to see you in the chat. So all this kind of like, you stroke this, and like, you know what you did? You played with fire. Ooh, you got it good and roaring, right? And then you checked your phone or looked away for a second, and a tree was on fire in your backyard. Fire runs across the limb, burns off a limb. That limb falls on top of the house. You're like, oh fuck! Now your house is on fire, right? It's that kind of thing. Oh, this is bad. The wind is blowing. Now your neighbor's house is on fire. What the fuck? You look over your shoulder. Now all the forest is alight. Now you hear women screaming and sirens, and you look again, and four more houses are on fire. And you're like, how the fuck did this got our hands so fast? Oh my god! And that's the snowball effect of just crazy shit, man. Some stuff you watch and you're like, I cannot believe this is happening, right? Sometimes it's not disasters, mountain shift. You're like, what? I remember that tsunami came through. I was in Australia when it happened. I was like, look at this tsunami. What in China? This is incredible, right? Amazing tsunami, amazing thing to see. But it also happens in your personal life, my personal life, where you do one thing. Like a couple of days ago, I was washing something and I took my eyes off the sink, and all of a sudden I was like, "Did I cut the water off?" And I ran down there, caught it, but still, sink overflowing. It took me a paper towel, not paper towel, towel. I was like, "Oh," but just that fast, and you think, was that an old person? What they call those old people moments of whatever? Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that and sinister, like Arbery, who just got running through my neighborhood. I'm gonna teach him a lesson, right? The one I was always using about this kind of craziness is the guy who was hitting on the pregnant lady and runs her over. He's driving a, a dump truck, garbage truck, giant ass truck, runs her over. A pregnant lady you're hitting on. Because she's on the passenger side of the truck, and you're like in this giant ass thing, and you run her over. You kill this woman. Idiot. Right? That's just dumbness, right? That's just I should have just minded my business and went home. That's what that is. That's not even what we're talking about. I mean, what we're talking about is you know what you do? You made a lot of money selling weapons. Now everybody's got a weapon. And now you're afraid for your safety because you can't walk around because the streets aren't safe. But you didn't think about that when you were selling guns to everybody. Sold drugs to everybody. Made a lot of money. but now all your neighbor. And this is what the OxyContin thing is, right? It's not like, oh, I sold drugs in Brooklyn or Montana or Wisconsin or whatever, and then I moved away to Florida or Maine or Connecticut, right? I'm talking about you fucked up the whole environment. I'm not talking, So when I say you fucked up the environment, I mean you fucked up the environment. I mean you can't go anywhere else because you live here. It's the same thing with the terrarium we live in on this planet, right? We can't go anywhere else, but now we've got rising temperatures and dying species all over the fucking place. How you gonna fix it? How you gonna fix it? All this pie in the sky shit. We're gonna raise money. Yeah, I know you always raise money. Nothing ever gets fixed. I'm unimpressed. You know what I did? This is what I did today. Whole. I'm sorry. Majors are always orange, and minors are always blue marker with me. And then there's this one, which is on the bottom key, the G, and the G scale, bottom key. This is not in red bar. And that same scale. So this is what my weekend is looking like. My weekend is looking like I'm not gonna pay any attention to anything because everything is getting stupid. I like Kanye West. Why is the media following Kanye West's uh failing marriage and then who his wife dating and then why are you being the mean high school girl? Why is that allowed for him? Right? I mean, the media is so fucking stupid and scuzzy and trying to make their bones off misery. You can't trust what they say. And some of it is just ugh. It's like they follow around teenagers dating. I'm like, yeah, I know they're rich, but they're still kids. Why? How can you follow them around, watch them spend money, stick a camera in their face? How is that even possible? How do they even as celebrities not have privacy rights as children? You know why they have no rights? Because that newspaper telling you their story is also owned by the film company conglomerate, which is also trying to push her movie slash uh, website slash album. So they can't really have a problem with it. But it's creepy. It really is. It really is. And I get the adults. You signed up to be famous, following you around, seeing what new beaches you go to, seeing who you're fucking, who you're dating. That totally makes sense to me. But I don't get the kids. I don't get the kids. And then people say evil shit about the children. And I'm like, oh, you don't even have enough corporate good sense not to go down this fucking road. But you go, you know what? If we fucking did this with the children, excuse the language, if we did this with the children, we could probably put another $350 million on our books, and we only made 21 billion last year. This is why I think when this whole shit goes left, people are going to be giddily happy to take revenge on some of these people. Um, and I say that because when every place falls, it looks like people are always giddy, giddy to like exact these dark revenges. And my whole thing is always, if you're in power and you have all the money, and this shit's about, you should have fixed it before it got to the point where people wanted to stick your head on a pike outside the fucking castle, right? You could be like, woo, I got all this stuff. I got all this insider trading money. I know all the supermodels and blah, 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 blah. I've had my pencil rubbed by all the supermodels and the celeb. You know what? Maybe I bridge too far time. Maybe I should just fix my shit. Quite like open up some, I don't know, I'm about to say libraries. Nobody fucking reads anymore. Open up some after school programs, some learn to read programs, some da 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 da. Right? Actually start pushing good shit. So when the bottom falls out, like that woman who came out of his past, Mario Cuomo's past, not Mario, Chris Cuomo's past, right? You could have been like, first of all, I don't remember that happening. And my whole life since, 2012 has been about this because I had to, and then people would be like, oh, well. Maybe he did do that thing, but he's different now because people always, especially if they like you, they're always looking for a reason to let you get away with it, right? But if you're like I said on this podcast, if I ever got rich, I'm not getting rich, but it had in my past, right? If I had ever got, if I had, that was right. If I'd gotten, did I say if I'd gotten rich? If I, yeah. Anyway, if I gotten rich and still being the person that I am, because I'm not, by no means am I perfect. But I'm sort of a hippie weirdo. I totally get that. And I could maintain this hippie weirdo thing. But I'm not a stupid hippie weird. I'm not gonna live in a yurt with $1 million, right? But at the same time, I don't want a house so big I can't clean it, right? So if I had gotten rich on a this, that, or the other thing, I might have some land and a small house on it someplace where you can't get to, which makes sense to me. Uh, but I don't see the point of feeding on people. Like people run through people like people don't have any feelings and don't keep grudges and aren't vengeful, right? There've been women just because a woman wants to sleep with you doesn't mean you should sleep with her. There've been women in my life where I was like, that bitch is crazy. I like her. I'm not gonna, but she's crazy, and I'm pretty sure that there's been people who thought that about me. But every now and then, you notice that, yep, nope, whatever the reason is, that lady's crazy. Oh, and she likes me, which is nice. Yeah, no, not going down this road at all. I want to be able to go, bitch, you're crazy, and say it without actually thinking to myself, bitch, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? so, so just I expect you to call me stupid, right? But I don't expect you to believe that I'm stupid. So yeah, I fully expect to be insulted, uh, but I don't expect to be having to tell you the truth of the world. And the truth of the world is that you're fucking crazy. You're batshit crazy. Um, and it's also let's talk about this. Let's slide off. Let's slide on to another topic. The idea. I mean, I've been thinking about this thing that Bill Maher said about Whoopi Goldberg. I wish I could play it, but the YouTube gods wouldn't allow it. And he said, "Hey, Doctor G, good to see you. Happy, happy post Hump Day. What are we gonna call Thursday? If Wednesday is Hump Day, what comes after Hump Day? Afterglow Thursday? That sounds creepy. I don't know. Yeah, let's just call it. I can't wait for the weekend Thursday. Is it? How about is it Friday yet Thursday? Um. So what was I talking about? Anyway. The, anyway, I lost my train. What is going on with this thing? Um. Pretty good week, man. Pretty good week. Played a lot of guitar, watched a lot of politics, watched a lot of poll numbers, watched a lot of weirdness. Oh yeah, the Whoopi Goldberg. Thank you, William. So Whoopi Goldberg. So Phil Moore said this thing about Whoopi Goldberg. He said it's you should go look it up. It's you should really because it was a truth. It was a deeper truth than I think he. uh and I say it all the time, but people always say what I say, but they say it better. This is the magic of being a wordsmith. I can go, William, what the fuck is wrong? You need to fix your shit, right? And someone else can go, excuse me, someone else can go, William, my dude, I care about you. You're kind of like, you need to get it together, right? That's the same message, but you'll be like, you know what? I've been going through some stuff, but I'm all right, man. You're like, all right, good, because we appreciate you. We care. Thank you, man. Versus that first guy, you'd be like, who the fuck are you to say? And then before you know it, you're in an argument, right? And that's what I think a lot of this is how you speak to people. I learned that in the police department. A lot of this is how you speak to people. I've seen people antagonize situations that could have went just fine, just by showing up being rude and nasty and verbally abusive before they got physically abusive. You had to remove them from the scene, right? All this kind of stuff. Um, and he said we grow up like essentially after 300 years of apartheid, as he used the phrase, uh, we don't grow up like other people grow up here, right? Uh, and the idea that we should see it the way you see it, that someone else sees it, uh, is wrong. But we're always judged by this standard by people who cannot possibly get how we see the world, right? Uh, and all my life, I thought I had questions because I'm curious. I'm naturally curious, and I had questions about Jews. I was like, if they're all from Germany, how are they not white, right? And but no one answers your question. The people view the asking the question as insulting, which just makes me the question asker just kind of go, man, these people are full of shit, and go about my flow. So again, and to give some back ground to this story that I'm telling you, we were on the pod after this whole Whoopi Goldberg thing happened, and I was saying on the pod then, I was like, I thought they were a different race, right? Because and as I spoke, it was heavily laden in the American way of looking at race relations, white and black, right? For all these years, right? What I talk about almost nightly. Then we looked up that guy. I wish I could remember his name. And that tweet, I should have took a screenshot of it. And he was like, um, oh my god, I forgot most of what he said. But he was like, yeah, of course Jew is a Jew. Of course Jewish is a race because the Nazis wanted to extinguish them, right? The Nazis called them a race. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'll buy that, right? Yeah, they were willing to go through enough trouble to kill 6 million of you under the auspices of that you were an unwanted race. I'm not even gonna sweat it. I can easily adjust my mental framework to that and not knock anything else off of my mental shelves. It doesn't. I don't need to come and rearrange my whole shit to make like I have to do with the trans people, right? For them, I have to just fucking go. Okay, well, I guess you're just as equal as my mom, so I'll just take my mom off this shelf and move her over with my sisters. Put Bob, I'm sorry, Bobby now, right now, and there's no difference. How dare I even say, right? Before I was like, okay, well, you had a mental epiphany, now you're this thing. Okay, that's fine. I'm good with that. I don't judge you. I think it's weird. I don't really understand it. Not for me. Not gonna judge you. But when you go, you have to call me this, and you have to use these pronouns, and I am no different than this lady right here, who was my sister, my mom, or my whatever. Then I go, okay, I got all sorts of questions, and then as soon as I ask them, I'm the bad guy. You know what? I pull all support from all of you, all of you. I've got two belly wicks now. Two things that I talk about: social justice for everybody. Don't rape women at work. That's not hard. Racial justice for me and mine, right? And everything else can go take a flying. I don't care about it, but I still do have questions, right? So that question about is Jewish. I remember back in the day, I was like, is it? Can I call them Jew? Is Jews bad? But they call themselves. They're Jew? And someone had to say no. They are Jews, but don't call them Jew. They are Jews. You call them Jewish. So you have someone above you, like not above you, but older than you, a little bit more about the world, telling you this stuff. Like I'm sure the same thing is like grandpa. No, you don't call them colored anymore. It's 1972. They're trying to be so they're black now. Black. But when I was yeah, you definitely don't call them that, right? So you have these moments by people that you like. You go, oh, okay. Like you train your little kids up. Nobody calls ladies dames anymore. Like it's the 20s or whatever, right? But that's another thing, right? Each group gets its own. You age into like your own slang culture, right? So 5 and 6 year olds, they don't have slang culture. Slang it shows community cleverness, community adaptation, and community sort of acceptance, like coolness, right? This is a cool thing. We all agree that this is a cool word. We all agree sucker is a cool word for a busted dude, right? Just like we all agree that cool is a great word for um a great word for an above average person that we like, right? That guy's cool versus that guy's average. So, it's 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 fun. Like no one likes wordplays anymore. No one likes puns. Puns are awesome. So going back around to this Whoopi Goldberg thing, she came back. She was very sort of apologetic. I was going to say magnanimous. You'd only be magnanimous when you did some fantastic shit and you come back. They're like, "You're the man, baby. It's all about you." And you're like, "Puh, stop it. Nah, anybody could have done it. Nah, dude. You ran into the building, ran up 30 flights of stairs, saved the whole family, carried them all down one by. You are great. Nah, you'd have done the same. That's magnanimous. But being just coming back because you're kind of fucked. No, I don't even think she fucked up. It's one of those things where you could be wrong, and somebody would have been like, somebody should have been like, Whoopi, that's not right, and this is why that's not right. Versus the mob, you got America. I said it before. America loves a mob. People just love to show up and demand a lynching or a hanging, lynching for black people and hanging for everybody white because they hung a whole bunch of innocent white people in this country throughout the South and the West. So don't get it twisted. A bully's a bully, right? And America has managed to make bullying profitable. So now we get bullies from all over the world showing up here to be assholes, right? And stop acting like just because you showed up here from someplace you were wanted or you did something good here. The mafia showed up here, right? Am I not right? There was a Jewish mafia as well, Italian mafia, Irish mafia, right? But as long as you don't bother the people on top, they won't bother you, and unless you get too big or you do something stupid. The mob essentially was a Chicago and New York thing. Kept it quiet. They bribed people because the cops were all pieces of shit, beating up people and taking them. Right. This was in the 20s and 30s, uh, before the enlightenment of copdom. Um, and they were just as bad as the mobsters and the like fiefdoms nonsense, disrespecting women and children and beating the crap out of people, killing people, stealing, right? Um, that's what it was. Then all of a sudden, morality swings into play. Everybody's a good Christian when they get in trouble, and then they know the judge, and the judge lets them off for killing like the sixth guy. Um, but now, like I said, nothing stays secret, man. This isn't the 50s. Everybody's got one of these. If I had a show, where's my guitar? If I had a show, right? Ugh. And I got up there in the age of today, and I played this thing, sad song, love song, and on YouTube, and you liked it, and then you shared it with your family, and they liked it, and then people that they shared it didn't, right? You catch this heat, and before you know it, people go, that guy, that internet guy had that song that I really like. It's everywhere. That's what happened to Little Nas X, essentially, right? 2 years ago, he was dirt poor. I love that story, right? His story is this: he made music. He was living on his sister's couch, and she was like, "You better do something with yourself. I got a husband and a baby, and you're a grown ass man. You can't. I love you. You my little brother, but you can't live on my couch, right? Fair, right? Totally fair. Um, but the kids now buy beats, right? You don't need to. In the old days, you need to have an agent who takes a record label who give you some time and then you right. He just bought a beat and rapped over it. Um, pretty good song. His songs are catchy. That's the thing. Making a pop song is an art. Kanye West knows how to do it. Taught himself, right? This Lil Nas X guy knows how to do it. Ed Sheeran knows the fucking how to do it. The Beatles knew how to do it. Not everybody can do this, right? Some people are one hit wonders. You wonder how I think this is his second album. I think I know 10 songs from him, which is amazing. They're poppy as fuck. But you know, the magic of it. But same thing as well, like that guy. If I play it, so you know, uh, and somebody goes, "Oh, Bill, you suck! Oh my god, I'm way better than that." He goes, "Shut up!" Whack, which absolutely happened. If you can actually look it up online, a guy whacked, uh, uh, not a participant, not a patron, someone in the audience, uh, an audience member, I guess, in the head with his guitar because he was like, "Dude, you suck." Yeah, on camera, instantly famous, not for the song you sang, but for the moment you were in when you did that thing in a world full of cameras where everybody will know immediately that you are X, Y, or Z, right? You live in a world full of revenge where what you did 20 years ago is not going to stay hidden in a world of this, right? People leak shit all the time. To leak your sex tape, I don't even need your sex tape. I can just take a picture of your sex tape and then release that clip, and everybody knows you had one. And then you being a senator or a congressman or whatever, right? But sometimes you catch the win with a sex tape. Kim Kardashian did, right? Pamela Anderson caught the win just because she was pretty in the stands, right? Usually someone will have to walk by and go, "Oh my God, you're very attractive. Oh my God, I'm a press agent for so and so Ford founder," right? There's several women who got that deal, right? And a lot of people, you probably just lied and you got to call up and make sure, "Yeah, this is Bob so and so's office at Ford Mall." "Oh, did you?" "Yes, coming Tuesday, we'll be da 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 da." You walk and see the finally, and all of a sudden, you know, if you can just keep your mouth shut for 2 years, you're good forever. And that's the same thing with like the NFL draft, the same, or any of these football drafts, right? You get plucked out of obscurity because, well, at least those guys worked hard to get to someplace. But just being born pretty is just lottery AF, right? It's like born being a prince. You can't really do anything about that. Uh, who else had that story? Jason Momoa has the same story. He didn't have a headshot. He went in for an audition and been working ever since. Yeah. Some people go like, you know. So anyway, and some people look unique. Danny DeVito was unique, right? People in my small amount of time working for HBO, I noticed that what casting agents really like are interesting looking people, big eyes, quirky smiles, interesting looking people. You got a mole, perfect. But if you're just pretty and blonde and blue eyes, or pretty and black with dreads, or pretty and Asian with whatever, there's a ton of that. Ton of pretty blondes, blue eyed, ton of pretty black girls with swag, dreads, braids, whatever. Ton of pretty Asian ladies with whatever they're looking for Asian ladies to be. Ton of handsome guys, 6'4", black, white, red, whatever. Ton of, you know, every now and then you get a really interesting beauty, and they love that. And every now and then you get quintessential handsome beauty, and they love that too. So Brad Pitt is quintessentially handsome, right? George Clooney is also very chiseled, very quintessentially handsome. Um, Swimmer is Dave Schwimmer from he isn't, neither is not none of those guys from Friends are are classically what you'd call it attractive. One of them is the son of a famous guy. One of them is actually pull yourself up by your bootstrap actor, right? But you don't know what those guys did. That they get propositioned to just like the ladies. Did some of those guys kiss the pencil for an acting role? Right? You never know. Some people come to the game with something and they go, "Hey, why don't you be an actor?" So you were a rapper first. Why don't you come to be an actor? Hey, you're an author. Why don't you be in my movie? Right? Versus the people who like all these people sleeping around that. And look, man, It was Charlie Rose, right? It was Matt Lauer. It was who's the guy from Fox News? Bill I'm about to say Bill Murray. Bill somebody. Bill Rowan? Rowan? It's killing me. It was him. It's both the Cuomo's, right? But we're just gonna use the people in media. Um, yeah, it was Bill O'Reilly. It was Sean, it was another Fox News guy. It was like it's been at least three Fox News, but I mean they've been all over the place, right? ABC News had am I gonna have to look this up? I used to have this in my head. This is the thing about coming up with right. No, Hannity's still there, being ridiculous. Um, but there was a lot of them. And my point is that there's just as many on one side as the other. And remember what they were saying when about Bill Clinton, right? And all these ladies who were like, "Oh, that's ridiculous," right? They like there's always plenty of ladies who go, "That's not true. He's a great dude." And they're almost always as many of them as there are accusers, right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Look, I wear my heart on my sleeves, and I'll let you know what I think. Do people date at work? Yeah, should they? No, they shouldn't. Because here's the problem with dating at work. Look, if you and hear what I'm saying, if you meet someone at work and you go, "Oh, we have this," and you do, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But dating is different. Dating is it didn't work out with this person. I go out with so and so an accountant. Didn't work out her. I'll go out and so in receiver. Didn't work out with him. I go out and so. So eventually, you end up dating at work. You got all these data points. It's just bad. And I think it happens once, fine. But once you go, how many times have you done this? Right? The people should, yeah, yeah. It's so. Oh, the lady state trooper, isn't everybody suing everybody? Nothing's gonna. They're gonna throw it out. They're gonna throw it out. You can't keep paying off everybody who accuses you, right? And I get why you would pay off somebody who accuses you. The same reason the prince just paid off this woman who accused him, right? It's the idea that we need this to go away. This is worse than the publicity. She's not gonna get $1 trillion. Pay her off so she can get the fuck out of here and let this story die already. And you go, how much? I mean, look, how much depends on how much you have. She wants $1 million. I don't have $1 million. Fuck that bitch. Excuse my language, right? But she wants $1 million, and I'm a prince of England. Okay, give her $1 million. She knows you're the prince of England. She wants 10. How rich is that fucking guy? He's connected to the treasury of his nation. You know what I mean? The treasury gives him money. No questions asked, keep it moving. Your treasury does not do that for you unless there's about to be a rebellion. So yeah, he gave us $7 million. And it looks more and more like a money grab to me. Embarrassing, true, but yeah, money grab. I mean, she comes across as sketchy. She really does. But the thing is the thing. And that's what it is. Look, if you get sued by any of these ratchet ladies in a club, they weren't there studying, right? This wasn't the library. What you mean at the club? Oh, I met him at a party. Yeah, okay. All right. Just look, it's a party, people get drunk, people do things, and all of a sudden people sober up. And I think that's a lot of the cynicism I have for it. I find that people don't want to take responsibility for the wildness they had when they were drinking because when it hits the public, people will be like, "You freaked three guys at a party? Oh my god!" And you'll be like, "No, no, I wasn't. I didn't." And it's fucked up. And the women should be the first. I said this on this pod before. There was a woman who won Congress, found out she had some sex stuff going, then she resigned from Congress. I was like, what a loser. Why would you resign from Congress? You could have been not the poster boy, but you could have been the ice that broke the ceiling of because if I became a senator and then a tape came out of a girl giving me a blowy, first of all, I'm gonna be grinning like an idiot. And two, everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's a man having sex. I don't get the problem. What's the problem? What's the problem? Right? It's on tape. So what? It's my never. People tape stuff. I don't get the problem. Right? But then with women, they'll be like, oh, the whole fabric of America has been. Look, ladies, you let them put you on a pedestal because you think it's advantageous for you when it isn't. And I said on this podcast before, all these women crying, oh, the boy did this to me at work, and oh my goodness, and I'm afraid, and some sinister fucker is gonna go, you know what? We have to protect these women. I cannot believe we're letting them walk around without men or drive or vote or anything. Some of this shit adults do. You shouldn't cry about it after you did it. And then so that's what it is. I think a lot of the argument lends itself to I'm a weak girl, somebody save me. And by the way, cut me a check from this guy. And I think that's gonna be your undoing. I think that's really gonna be your undoing. Um and for cynical reasons, this is America. Took everything from the Indians. The Indians owned slaves for fucking crying out loud. Right? It's just kind of like, what? It's like, what don't you get about oppression? Um, the environment of how people get down doesn't make any sense to me. It's like people, ooh, it's like people are show short are are so short sighted that, like I said, like earlier, how you ruin your environment with this behavior, right? You ruin your terrarium by all the fossil fuels and shit. You ruin the dating like dynamic between men and women when you have this procreation for profit thing and this enslaved men to women kind of thing. Whereas at the same time having this thing where women can go, yeah, I'm having this kid and I'm not telling anybody who the father is because nobody needs to know. What? You're not the Virgin Mary here. Somebody else should be responsible for him, not just because you're broke, right? So all these kind of cynical things is what I'm talking about. So when it's time for people to go, yeah, fuck these women, I think a lot of guys are gonna take fucking their opportunity to exact revenge on whoever they view that woman is in their life. Their mother, their ex-wife, their mean sister, the girl who wouldn't date them in high school, right? Because I think a lot of this fuck men shit is some of that from women, right? And if all this is true, that guy who was handsy, that guy who you didn't report but who you should have reported, all this shit, you know, is part of the environment versus fixing the fucking problem. We never fix the problem. We just make more miserable people. Two kids fighting cops, only handcuffed black kids been crump on the kid. Yeah, I did see that. Um, I don't know how they're going to explain it away. It was a fight. You deal with both of them. Yeah. Oh, you instantly act like one kid wasn't dangerous. You completely turned your back to one kid, and that kid could have blew your brains out with a handgun. Your tactics was shitty on that regard, and then you instantly over police one guy, two cops on one guy, with your back to the yeah. Explain to me. Tell me how nothing is ever racist, but racist shit. A suspicious staircase led detectives to find a long missing girl. Yeah, that stuff like that, you don't even need a trial. You found a missing girl hidden away under the stairs of the guy's house. Outrageous. I will tell you, I have had my moments in policing where I was happy to arrest people. Where you walk and you see something, you walk back out, he's under, and your boys go just grab him, and he's instantly arrested. Yeah, yeah, dumb shit, dumb shit. Um, had one guy getting high in the stairwell. He was 24, 23, And the two girls he was getting high with, one was 15 and one was 17. One was 16. One wasn't 17 yet. Might have been 17, close to 17. But one was 15. What's wrong with you? How bad is how bad is your judgment that you're doing this in a public stairwell, mind you, genius, with two minors? I couldn't walk away from that if I wanted to, right? Man, get these girls out of here. Put your weed away. Get out of here. All right, man, we leaving. Then I go about my business. I found out they got back together like 20 minutes later and he raped one of them. Why didn't you arrest him? I, I, I but I, I was trying to not get anybody in trouble, ruin the young girls' lives, and I was looking out for the dude because he's a homie. Not really a homie, he's just another black dude. He wasn't even black, he was Puerto Rican, Dominican, I think. So doing the right thing for strangers is a coin flip, right? So they had better be unconscious and drowning, uh, or something like that. You help somebody bleeding on the street, yeah. But a lot of this stuff is just cons running you and stupid people doing stupid shit that you shouldn't look out for. There's plenty of good people to look out for. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't look out for people. I'm just saying choose wisely is what I'm saying. What time is it? It's 8:15. Woo. We did start late. Yeah. All right. This Thursday. So Bannerlord, man. Yeah. I don't even know what to tell you. Uh I might be streaming tomorrow at 2. I'm not gonna be out in the world tomorrow because it's gonna rain. I'm trying to do some gaming. So that probably won't be here. I might throw up a mention of it here. I got to get this whole thing organized, and we'll do it on Twitch, the gaming channel. Please like and subscribe to my gaming channel on Twitch.com. Excuse me, and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is on YouTube at YouTube.com. Tris Armor, YouTube.com. Karma Armor on Twitch. Uh, Fun stuff. Yeah. All right. So I have to rewrite this. See my handwriting when the spirits catch me. It's all like crammed in there. This is better. I actually had to go over it and over coffee this morning, sort of sussed out a loose idea of what I'm going to actually make a poster of. Because that's the only way I can learn this stuff. I have to bind it to the art because I'm creative, but my natural creativity falls to art, not music. I think everybody has a like just because you're creative doesn't mean you can do anything. And some people don't do anything, so they go to college and say that they're creative. Oh, look, I went to college and now I'm a painter. You know, you could have been a painter before. I went to college and now I'm a musician. Yeah, but you could have been a musician. But you weren't. First of all, you were a musician before. Um, but some people have no talent and no direction, so they just go to college because their parents sent them, and then they take up art, and then they go do weird shit in the art world, which is fine. Could New York mayor have been a force for 20 years but avoided action? Which mayor? Could New York mayor have been on force for 20 years but avoided that? Oh, you're saying could he have been on the force for 20 years but didn't do anything? That's not likely. And first of all, sergeants, lieutenants, and captains don't arrest anybody. All the arresting happens with cops and detectives, which are essentially the same rank. So you got to watch some of this, William. I mean, New York City likes to demonize and sell papers through hatred of overly critical black officials, hatred of some of the black citizenry. Uh, and essentially, they like to push, uh, depending on who's in power, they like to push animus. So they did it with the Republican mayor, less with Bloomberg because he was paying people off, in my opinion. Um, but they did it with Giuliani, right? They're combative with the establishment, and that's part of the thing. So with the black people and the black mayor, Dink is in this one. It's gonna look racially based, but they do it all the time. Um, but you can tell if it's legit by what they're talking about. This is not legit. The idea that he was a captain, right? I mean, the idea, yeah, that's not legit. That's just that's mean spirit, and it's a shot at his police career. No, not if you're a B cop. No, you have to. You will run across. Somebody will do something on your way home. I had an arrest on my way home. A drunk driver who blew by me on the Brooklyn Bridge, went rocked my car, and the Brooklyn Bridge turns into Adams Street and then into Court Street. And like on the bridge there's a slow turn, and he was going too faster, and he hit like three cars, and then I had to stop traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge at like 2 in the morning coming home from work to make sure no one got killed. Then I arrested him. Ta-da! And he bribed me. He tried to bribe me. It was just a shit show of a day. My 8 hours. I actually had to arrest that day. So my 12-hour, 16-hour day became a 28-hour day. But I thought my 16-hour day was going to become a 24-hour day, and I was going to take the day off. No, because after he bribed me, the idiot, I told what you're supposed to do, and we called down IAB. They put a wire on me. He had had him make the offer again to me. The guy made the offer again to me, twice as much money. I'm sorry, not twice, half as much money. But it's still a bribe, still a crime. Uh, so yeah, ta-da-ta-da-ta-ta. You just bump into shit. You will, because people are always up to nonsense, and your luck isn't so good to walk around and not run into dumbness, right? And that'll happen with the cops too. That cop, lieutenant captain, they'll take police action there when the police and so and so show up. They'll tell them, take the collar. So and so did this and that. Here's your witness. Here's your this. I'll be a corresponding witness. You can put me down as a supervisor of the arrest. And but the guy in the bag will take it. So yeah, it seems like one of those. You should have been a better cop, kind of fucking. Fuck you. Shut up. Where were you? What were you doing? Right? I don't get to say that a lot, but it's like this is why I don't criticize military people. Like I'll criticize wars and how we enter and exit and that bullshit, but I'm not gonna criticize the guy in the boots and shit. All I can go with, man, that's fucked up. And I sort of learned that from watching the Vietnam adults and how they treated guys coming back, right? Uh, and then talking to my family about it because I got a ton of military people in my family after the Gulf, and they were like, and I'm like, I'm not hating on people in my family. All my family didn't fight wars for this fucking country since before we were officially citizens, right? Um, so yeah, but when it comes to cop stuff, I'm gonna take some of this with a grain of salt. Even as I am critical of you and William, you know this, I'm critical of the police. So I'm not gonna um sugarcoat it or lie about it. But that seems unfair and full of shit, quite frankly. Especially after I just gave you the low the slow what's ups with how the New York media covers. Sorry, I'm how the New York media covers politics, and especially how the New York media covers black citizenry. And then you add how they cover black citizenry, who is the mayor. There was a riot. There was an absolute fucking riot uh, by the cops when Dinkins was there. It was really outrageous. It was really, really outrageous. I'm sorry. Excuse me. You know, I do this because I play a lot of guitar, a lot, and I'm not getting better. I don't want to say that, but I just feel like I can't do arpeggios because my hands, my fat sausage finger hands, don't aren't young and supple, right? Yeah, no. So I think what's gonna happen is I'll find a niche of the music that I like to play, and I think that's likely gonna be rhythm and blues, not jazz. Like just sort of not funk. I don't know. It's just it's not. It's gonna be something, but it won't be any of that super good fastness that like we like to see. It's just gonna be. And here's the thing: it's one thing to go. Well, if I had done this when I was 25, and I'm an adult learner, but you could still make your fingers fast in 10 years, 35. So down, I'm over my side of the mountain. It's all downhill from here. Here you go. Well, you know what that is? Oh yeah, listen to those tones. Oh, the world's smallest violin. Mwah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Uh it's never too late, right? I'm never gonna sell you albums. All right. Yeah, and plus my fingers aren't I need to cut my nails. My fingers aren't Yeah, also I was telling my homie this. I I'm getting good enough that I know the sound of a good guitar. I'm not saying I'm good enough to own a good guitar, but that progress. I'm also getting good enough to hear uh not the beats. The ah not the timing, the 1 2 3 4. What is it? The progression. Then I was trying you hear that that hear that? A lot of that, you know what that is? That is me not pressing down hard enough. And that's all I'm doing. Anyway, how did we you heard that one? That's me leaning up against this one. I knew it. Now I gotta jam my it's like I'm putting my what was I doing yesterday? Yeah. Anyway. Anyway. 1 4 5 4s. One 3 1 3 5 7. One man, I'm just tired. I'm just gonna let it go tonight. But man, oh, my homie wrote me. What did he write? Uh, we so I like strategy games. First of all, I like first person shooters where you just run through a room and you whack people with your AR-15 or your Glock or whatever. Uh, but I also play these grand strategy games, and me and my homie are trying to get into Europa Universalis 4. So this is how my week went. I played I want to say about 5 hours of Europa Universalis. It took me an hour to get through the tutorial. Then I played 4 hours. I had no idea what I was doing. I had to start over. Then I bought Crusader Kings 3 because I was going to be King of Europe. I think I got 6 minutes in that game. Then I just went back to Bannerlord, and I have 70 hours there. And I've only been playing Bannerlord again seriously for about 2 days. My homie told me he's got like damn near 300 hours in it already. So I think what's going to happen is when I start streaming on Twitch, we're going to play Bannerlord because it's I can be a guy in the world, and then I can start a business, get a castle, start an army, rob, pillage, plunder, execute some people, right? Versus starting here and ending here, starting here and ending here. I'll be able to open up a character in the world and see what he does. Uh, but I want to see if we can keep the character for 3 months, and that shit starts tomorrow, Friday. So come on through. I'm thinking 2 o'clock, 2 in the afternoon, and it's gonna be a game stream. Feel free to ask politics questions. We're gonna do that because I want you to like me. I want you to come around when I monetize this thing. I think I'm gonna. I want you to give me your nickels, and I want you to like me and come around and do cool shit with me on these weird pods. Oh, I need some lotion. I also noticed Thanks, man. I also noticed aging. I'm losing definition. I think in 10 years' time, I'm just gonna be a frail old man, which I'm fine with. I want a long white goatee with a rubber band on it, two of them. I'm not gonna have a cane. I'm gonna have a staff. I'm gonna wander around with not a coat, but a nice long and a staff. And everybody in the neighborhood's gonna know me as a weird old guy who walks around with either not a mariachi, a mandolin, maybe a ukulele, and I'm gonna be dispensing wisdom to the kids. Fred Sanford, nah, I'm not gonna be owning a trash. What is it? Garbage shop? What? Who would be that character? Who would be? Good lord, I gotta start watching so much science fiction. Um, who would it be? It also had biblical undertones to it, right? A staff and a robe. Well, I didn't say a robe. I said a cloak, wandering around the random streets, talking shit with a ukulele. That kind of thing will just get you committed. And another thing you don't know about me, I used to work in a mental health hospital, and yeah, no, uh, during the crack '80s, outrageous the things people would do just to not go to jail to end up at a mental health hospital. And then they would put him there for a while, 6 months, and then they would send him to jail. Yeah, we think he's fine, and then you just go to jail. Why don't you just not do this stupid thing in the first place? How about that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, man. Oh, we've got 7 minutes. What? We did a banger of a show, even as we weren't even supposed to do a show today. But we did get off the rails, but that's kind of what our show is about. That whole Chris Cuomo thing, man. I don't even know what to tell you. That whole Chris Cuomo thing is crazy. So while he's reporting on Matt Lauer, they're saying these guys, man. Oh, but it's not only them. A lot of these women are sleep around women to get ahead in the workplace, right? So oddly enough, how did this whole thing unravel? Because oh my god, the fuckery. How did this whole thing unravel? So the governor, here's the thing. The governor, in my opinion, should not have quit. They were going to remove him from office. So instead of having that on his record, because he wanted to be somebody's vice president, blah, 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 he resigns. Under scandal, though. You're not going to be anybody's vice president anyway. Right? So, but while he's doing this, his ex-chief of staff, who quit his chief of staff to be assistant to Zucker, and now they're, right? Meanwhile, his brother also has the same issues. And here's the thing: if Zucker had not slept with this woman, he'd be golden. He didn't. That was egregious. That was the first mistake, right? But then she, who had ties to the governor Cuomo, and he who had ties to younger brother Cuomo, Once they connect up, it becomes this ball of fuckery. It really does. It becomes this incestuous thing where none of them can give an honest word because they're all in the car together, right? This clown car. Hello, leggy lady. Squeaky motion? Did I miss a squeaky motion? Right? They're all in the look. They're all in the car together. They're all in the clown car together. So you've got Zucker telling, as he's reporting on the governor's scandal, telling the governor how to handle the scandal, right? With his lover, his open public secret lover, who used to work for the governor. So then the younger brother gets sort of suspended because he hit on a woman at a party in front of her husband. The arrogance of that, first off. Now, I've hit on women at party and was like, oh my God, I totally didn't know. Please forgive me. Right? That happens. I get it. She's a coworker, she's married. Here's another thing. When I did that shit, it was at a party. It was like 1, 2 in the morning, right? It may have been 11, 10, 11:30, 12, I don't know. Anywhere between 10, well, not 10 because I'm not, let's say between 11:30 and 2 in the morning. This fucking party was at 5 in the afternoon. 5 in the afternoon. It was a workplace party. It just shows he's loose and his judgment is garbage, right? So he does this while having survived the Matt Lauer affair. The lady didn't come through then, but then he reaches out to her and she comes through now. And they're like, "Oh well, we're gonna suspend you." This is what he thought. We were gonna suspend you because you're talking to your brother about this thing, and it looks like the fix is in. It's bad. 2 weeks, go golfing. And he was like, "All right." And then, but while that happened, they also got a letter from somebody saying we're going to sue Chris Cuomo and CNN for sexual harassment. And they were like, "Wait, what's this sexual harassment suit thing? What happened?" And now that compounds. Well, your brother's doing it. You're helping out your brother on our air. That's bad enough. Now, on top of that, the icing on the cake is you're doing the same thing your brother doing, right? And so we're just gonna out and outright like fire you, and not just because of this new thing. While we run this internal investigation that we were trying to like not have blow up our whole set, it turns out that you know you're completely inappropriate in the workplace. So yeah, we're just gonna let you go, and the guy who enabled you, we're gonna let go, and the woman he's been sleeping with, we're gonna let her go. So let's do the head count here. You got Chris Cuomo. You've got Zucker, who used to be the head of NBC News. All right. Um, these are all career-ending shit. Get a podcast, bitches. Right. But first of all, nobody's going to want to listen to you. You're not astute in politics. You're just famous host, and one isn't even a famous host. Actually, only one is a famous host. Right. I think the person who has the best chance of recovering from this out of Governor Cuomo, who still has the honorific of governor, Chris Cuomo, who's just a fired millionaire at this point, Zucker, who, like it or not, is sort of a boy genius when it comes to programming, or this woman who was in bed with him. I think Zucker. You know what I need? I need you at my network to give me a winning lineup. That's worth something. You can do that. Right? Just like Kanye. You know what, Kanye? I need you to make me a hit song. Right? He can do that. What do I need fucking Pete Davidson to do? What do I need Kim Kardashian to do? What do I need Jay-Z or Beyonce to do? Only 3 of those people can do anything. Right? Music. People get married to music. People have music that reminds them of their loved ones, right? People have music that are anthems, right? So 3 of those people can sing your song that'll bring you to a place or give you a battle anthem that will help you complete your marathon, right? But 3 of those other people don't do shit for you. Not really. I mean, there's no joke you come to in the mornings that helps you start your day, right? So the game is ridiculous. And what is your worth? And I think the only one who has any worth there is Zucker, because like I said, he greenlit two shows at NBC. One was The Apprentice with Donald Trump, I heard, and one was Fear Factor with Joe Rogan. Right. So yeah, he may end up head at Sirius Radio or CBS this time, head of nighttime programming or daytime news programming or whatever. Because remember, he doesn't have a long history of doing anything other than working. Right? He doesn't have a history of messing with women at work. The last woman he dated, sadly was his assistant, broke up his marriage. He left in disgrace. But you can argue, I made wrong decisions for love, and it's unlikely to happen again. Versus a guy who sexually, harassed every woman in the joint, and the people who work with him didn't like him. So if you want to bring him in, you're going to get a lot of blowback from women, right? And you already know he's an asshole, right? So I think it's podcast time for Chris Cuomo. No one's gonna watch it. I think it's just fucking go away time for Governor Cuomo. Uh yeah, Les Moonves is another one that they had to fire, right? And he didn't get his 100 million because of a what is it? A morality clause in his contract. They say, yeah, you're fired and we're not paying you your severance. Get the fuck out. I'm gonna sue. Yeah, okay, do that then. Didn't hear anything about it because he didn't sue. He couldn't sue. The guy's worth $500 million. I'm sure his people were like, well, he's probably worth way more than that. But I'm sure his people were his lawyers who are not, lawyer you or I can afford $10,000 billable hours kind of bullshit. Well, like, there's no way we can defend you on this, right? The clause is fairly don't. If you get into a relationship with someone at work, you have to notify the boards or the partners or whatever within 6 weeks, which is fair. We went out twice. It didn't last. We just stopped, and it. How long did it last? 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Any other women you date at work? No. Well, I did date someone at work when I worked at 7-Eleven in my 20s. Oh, no. You're not there. What about you, Miss? Oh, well, I dated my last boss, but he was divorced, so it wasn't. What about? Oh, well, they were separated. Okay. What about You seem to have a lot of office relationships with people directly above you, Miss. Right? But you're not going to hear that because we keep the women's indiscretions tightly wound down. What you will hear is, okay, what about you? Yeah, I dated Helen in accounting, and I dated Sue in marketing, and I dated Joanne in not receivables in uh, what is it? H&R? Not H&R. R&D, research and development, right? And I dated so and so in H&R. All right, man. We don't think you're a good match for this company. You're just a little too. Look, I'm a fan of love, but seriously, people, don't date at work. It's a scuzzy thing to do. And besides, there's some women there who are working really hard. And if your whole thing is dating at work, you make it all right to do this at work. So somebody's sitting here going, oh, I thought it was fine because I hit on Helen and we dated for like 2 months, and then I just came on you, and all of a sudden you're a cold fish about it, right? How about just not doing it at work? And how about blaming some of the people who do it at work? Mind you, I'm talking about dating at work, right? If you meet somebody at work and it's a one and done or maybe a two and done, you dated 3 people at work in your 20-year life of working, fine. But I'm talking about dating like it's high school, dating at work. And that is what we're talking about. All this sleeping around, partying with people that you're not supposed to, who are your bosses. That's the problem. Yeah, Don Lemon's sorry ass ought to be fired. He's horrendous. He's another one of those, right? So once he's gone, he can't have a podcast because he don't know shit. He don't. And he's got no following. Don Lemon, whatever. Um, yeah, Don Lemon is horrible. There's a lot of horrible. That Spanish dude, Rick Acosta, he's horrible. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Horrible. So I sent away for new cushions for these headphones. I like this. The wire on this thing. It really is just friggin' ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna put this here. Let's get the mic up. I'm gonna put this right here just for a second. Uh, who needs a cord this long? On head, I used to walk around with. I mean, first of all, they're super light. They're awesome. I love the fact that you can flip one headphone up and take it off your head. Uh, versus, yeah, dude. See, yeah, this is good for mixing. I can do it with these other ones too, but I can do it with these other ones too, but they're just a little too clunky, and I like them, and they swallow up all the noise, all the noise, all the noise. But they're just clunky. I mean, those were nice when I used to rollerblade and roller skate, not roller skate, and rollerblade and longboard, skateboard. I don't know. I'm definitely my mother's son. I should have gotten rid of these things like 15 years ago. They're still good though. I just ordered new cushions for them. I'm gonna clean them up, and since they're old and fuckery, I may paint them. Have some fun with. Maybe I put in rabbit ears or hearts or something. So when I'm rocking out making music in here, because I don't know why. Look, here's the magic of being a guy. I'm gonna tell you seriously. Yeah, Simpson Howard's. Sometimes your hobbies, it's just to spend stupid money on nonsense, all this electrical shit. If I was a car guy, I'd have a car in the garage with the hood up right now, right? Some people collect stamps and they've got all the accoutrement for stamps. Like they've got this thing which I love. I don't even know why I have one of these things. You know what I'm saying? It's covered in dust. But yeah, I have dreams of making an Iron Man suit about that big. So I got one. I'll be it's get a hobby. Part of the fun of a hobby is all the crap that you get to put your hobby together. I mean, if your hobby is jigsaw puzzles, that's cool. You just need fingers. But if your hobby is cooking, get a funky cool blender that you like. Everything in my kitchen is red. Uh well, yeah, well, not so much stamps. I used to I want to get into a RV cars, and I never did. And now I want to get into building drones that fly around. So that might be the next thing. Um if you collect like synthesizers, here's the thing. You could probably old analog vintage synths. Oh, you're talking like oh, you're talking about like the first Moogs, right? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you would need a lot of money for that. How much are those going for? 'Cause I saw one with this lady who I want to say she was like, if she wasn't the inventor, she was one of the first people to sort of is this is the she wore a man suit, right? Are we talking about the same video? Leggy lady? It would be amazing if we were. But I forgot her name. I have to resubscribe to all these people. It's crazy. Every day I have to resubscribe to people. Um, what was her name? I can find it. I know I can find it, and I can find it quickly. As always, this is the part of the show where we begin to end the show, and it takes about 40 minutes. What was her name? Synthesizer, Juno Yamaha CS80s. Wow, really? Maybe so. Your key. Well, here's a question. Are you a keyboard player or are you a piano player? Right? I feel like they're interchangeable, but I also feel like if said someone was a keyboard player to a piano player, they'd be mad at me. Uh, I'm just trying to get the terminology right. Synthesizer. Maybe her picture will come up. Synthesizers for beginners. That's hysterical. So it's funny, since I've been trying to teach myself music, and I say music, not guitar or keyboard, trying to teach myself music, I've been running through like all this music. And what happens is when I started, I was like reading, watching stuff, and I'm like, what? And then I just bookmark it, and I'd go away, and I'd come back like 4 months later, and I'd be like, oh. Oh, it doesn't have to be classical though. It's just like, is a terminology like keyboard player is synonymous with piano player? I don't know. Yeah, who don't, right? You can feel it within you. Uh, Before the pandemic, me and like 6 other friends had a concert club, and we saw a lot of rap stuff. I drive up to New York, saw good lord, I really need to stop smoking weed. I'm going to concerts, forgetting who I saw. Um, we saw Earth, Wind and Fire, right? Madison Square Garden. Uh, Good seats too. You could feel like some songs, like your rib cage. It's amazing because I like loud noise, and I've been around like big speakers and loud parties and like New York City clubs where you're like, oh man, I can't hear anything. But you go to like these venue stadium speakers, which is just a ridiculous step above like the super loud speakers at like a good disco. I'm not talking about like a small club. I've been to small clubs and nice clubs, jazz clubs, uh, uh, BB King's House of Blues, right? Versus like a nice club, like in New York, there's a place called Webster Hall. Look it up online. Giant place. It's got 7 floors of clubs, right? I used to like floor number 4 and the basement. Uh, Rap on the top floor, house music 1 floor, 80s disco another floor, Webster Hall. Mwah, right? That place, you stand near the speakers, you could feel like you'd wonder like if you're fizzing up on the interior, like if your blood is just kind of like just being shaken so much that it's getting fizzy, because you could feel it, like the vibration. It's so, yeah, sound is so very cool. I love all the elementals. I like, well, sound is not really elemental, but like running water, rain sounds like bacon frying. Like I love to take a walk in the rain. Like I live by the beach. I don't so much go to the beach, but like fire, a lot of people have a thing about just a flame, right? I could watch smoke waft, right? Not so much dirt. You can build with dirt, but like watching the wind like whip through the trees, like watching the birds soar. All these primal things. This is why I love being like an artist, because I was like, I am I want to know music, but I'm connected to an art, one of the original arts, right? So the first thing you see is cavemen drawing on walls. That was one of them. I think music was like gods banging on a hollow log, right? I'm pretty sure that was one. We know dancing is one. All cultures have dancing. All cultures, long before anybody ever met anybody, we all had music and we all had dancing. Um, so yeah, I'm chasing like s- I'm trying to chase a spirituality that I want to say isn't corny. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't want it to be corny because I really do believe, you know, yeah, music is universal. Music is so like the pulse of like your, yeah, yeah. Remember that song Sukiyaki? You're just kind of like, what is he singing about? But he sounds so sad. And then they made a English version of it because the song was so popular. They had to cut an English version of it. And then he, poor guy, died in a plane crash. What was it? I was looking for, what is her name? Synthesizer. Maybe if I went to Wikipedia. Look at these synthesizers. Are you talking about the ones with the back that look sort of like look at my elbows. I gotta get some lotion. Are you talking about the ones that look sort of like not answering machine, what do they call them? Uh Switchboards. It's, if you ever seen a Gene Michael Jarre gig, he fills entire streets and cities the world over, but he has no lyrics, all electronic instruments. That sounds cool. Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to. This is a million years old. This is pretty good. I'm trying to learn how to use it. It's got all those little pictures on the bottom of it. I'm like, what is that about? So if something tells me in a year, I'll know what that is. Ugh, my Guitar Center sucks. What? Synthesizer origins. I'm sorry. I'm just so looking for this woman's picture. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? All right. You know what? I'm gonna find this at like I always do after I'm off stream. Famous synth sounds, analog synthesizer, classic Roland synth. Jupiter 8, JXP 3, Juno 60, JD 800, V synth. How do you know which one is? I guess that's inside baseball for you synth people. I'm already going down a rabbit hole on synthesizers. Uh, those knobs. See, so because there's a picture of them, the Eurythmics. Would you consider them a synthesizer group? I always love the Eurythmics for this one. Here's my Eurythmics story. So growing up, MTV was a thing. We're all sitting around watching TV, and my dad is just watching these videos. He's like, "Look at these My dad's from South Carolina, back Jim Crow, South Carolina, right? So he's watching this. He just kind of like, look at these white people, right? Uh, but then that song, um, "Here Comes the Rain." Was it? No, yeah. Which one were there in the boat? Here comes the rain again, right? Here comes the rain again. But right, well, is that the one where they're in the boat, or is Sweet Dreams in the boat? It might have been Sweet Dreams. Anyway, my dad instantly liked the song, the video, and the look of the lady, right? Because he was like, this, I mean, back then, this was the 80s. She had shock red hair in a suit. And I guess it was one of those things that my dad was just kind of blown away by. But he was so instantly taken by the song. It was one of the songs that I like that I remember my dad first liking. Not first liking, but like liking as well. Because normally we play like all the old stuff, but the good stuff, right? And just shortly after that, he started letting us listen to more of MTV type stuff on the car radio. Um, Dave Stewart Collection 100. Did he really? When YouTube sent us some, really? So that's the one. And we're all just sitting on the floor, you're a little kid, your parents are in the sofa and you're on the floor. It was just one of those things. That and the time we all went to not all, we all my family went to my cousin's house uh and to watch the world premiere of the Thriller video. And all the adults, it was like 20 people in the house. All the adults were on the first floor. Uh, all the kids, I want to say between 12 and 16, were in another room on the top floor. And I was with my cousin Russell, who I idolized, who was a DJ, who was a really good DJ. And he had this cool sports car. He was just and I watched with him and the older teens who were like 19, 20, 23, and I got to watch it with them. And I felt all like, wow, look, this is the thing. Do not underestimate the energy older boys give younger boys when everything's like cool, right? Like you don't know the world, but you want to go out with somebody. You don't want to hang out with your mom or your dad. You get to hang out with your older brother, right? And his cool friends because you're young and you don't know that your older brother's friends are assholes, right? So you walk around, you worship your brother, and you get to hang out with him, and then there's some of that. I had a cousin the same way. He was a DJ. He was awesome. People don't have that. That's. I think people are robbing these young boys of shit that's gonna come back to haunt. Well, it's already happened. All the women I know like to hang out and bounce with men, but they don't want to be married to him. And I'm like, the last generation, you're not so much mad at him as you're mad at the last generation of women who raised him. Just like that generation was mad at the last generation who raised those men. Right? So I get a lot of weird talk about these things. If you have time one day, look up La Defense, John Michael Jar on YouTube. That's when I discovered him when I was about 9. The whole city is a stage. Light show projecting extraction. Looking back at the tech in its night is so primitive. It still looks amazing. But is this the guy who covered? No, that guy wasn't a musician. The guy who covered buildings in canvas with his wife. They had one name. Cisco? Fosco. It was something Co. Fagizgo. Fosco. Fosciasco. Cosciasco. No, that's a bridge. What was the name? Crisco. Cristo. Cristo? Crisco. It wasn't Crisco. Crisco's bacon fat. Cristo. I'll be right back. Cristo. All right. I must remember to take this out of here for you people say mean things about me. Huh? They put this stuff in everything. I bought it just because I thought that was hysterical. Marijuana lotion. Smells awesome. I grew up in an age where we didn't do scented stuff, but we did do cologne. Now everything is scented, but no one does cologne, which is amazing. Hemp's pure herbal extract, sweet pineapple and honey melon, herbal body moisturizer. Herbal body moisturizer, boys. All right. Ooh, it is 9 o'clock. All right, and the windows open. It is freaking warm. Look. It it just it doesn't make any sense how warm it is out here. It doesn't make any sense. Where's my phone? It was 75 degrees today. It doesn't make any sense. Hey, Lady B, how you doing? What's the weather outside?
It's currently partly cloudy and 63 degrees.
That's a 10-degree drop, but it's still warm as F. Oh, you have to go? All right, Leggy Lady, thanks for stopping by. It's always good to chat you up in the chat. Yeah. All right. You have to address the issues of teenagers, because I remember when I was a teenager, if I had gotten everything I wanted, the world would be much better. So you got to work on that. Thank you. Have a good night. Hopefully I see you guys tomorrow, and if I don't, have a great weekend. So, all right, I guess that is it. We are about to end the stream. It was an awesome run. Yeah, I think we're going to be back tomorrow to play some video games, and likely some guitar. Hear that? that wow. See, it's just what I need to do. I need to sit here for an hour and just do this. For like 1,000 times, and then burn it into my brain, and then I'm good. No problem. Show's about to end, but whenever you come here, I'm happy to see you. And besides, it's recorded. You can go and watch it at your leisure. But you might have missed a secret handshake and the aliens. That probably won't be in the rebroadcast. Yeah, they came down and told us secrets to the kingdom. And I put the book around here somewhere, and I forgot where I put it on. I'm sure it'll turn up. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, I want to thank all of you for coming through. I was going to say showing up, for coming through. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Friday. We stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tomorrow, we'll try not to be late. 6:30. Saturday, 6:30. Sunday, the 10 a.m. session. Come get some. Cleanses your soul for 2 straight weeks. And we talk about all things here. There are no sacred cows. So don't bring your sacred cow around here, because we will make sacred ground beef. All right. Please take care of yourself. It's wild and crazy out there. Also, please enjoy your weekend. Start it early. I don't care if your boss says start it at 5. Start it at noon tomorrow. Just between me and you. I got you. Okay, let it be. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. William, my man, thanks for coming through. Leggy Lady, as always, it was a pleasure. You're probably left already. And Doc G for coming through. Thanks, man. Please like and subscribe one more time before we end the show. My Twitch, we will be gaming tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Be there or be square. Karma Armor on Twitch. And True S Armor on YouTube. The names are spelled differently. They're playing my last name. That is my last name. I did not change it. Thank you. You know what? I'm not even going to say another thing, because the show's going to run for another 20 minutes. I will see you in the next one. Next one's tomorrow. Thanks for coming through. God bless. Mwah. Peace out.